Welcome to Move with Brandon. We are here at True Symmetry Brewing in Suisun City. We're going to be speaking with Jason Ledford about what they're doing here differently and how they're serving the community. But before we do that, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us out and helps you be notified when we do this again. All right, let's get in there and check out what they've got going on. Cheers. Let's move. So we're here with Jason Ledford at True Symmetry Brewing in Suisun City. And, so let's get into it. Like, why'd you want to start this business?
Well, so I was a home brewer for a long time as a hobby. It started about 1999 and enjoyed making beer at home for my friends and family. Started entering some competitions, and Berryessa Brewing opened up in winters, and I was able to go there and help him in the brewery quite a bit for several years and just kind of built up a skill set. And I was a police officer, and I knew I was going to be able to retire at age 50. Okay. And at 50, I thought, I'm still going to want to do something and have a job, and I really enjoyed doing this. So basically what happened was I turned a really fun hobby into a business, right. and stressed myself out, but I still really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. So that's kind of where it spawned from. And then in about 2014, I had been accepted into a brewing program in Northern England, and I had saved up vacation time, and the chief of police actually let me go away to England to study brewing. Oh, wow. So I went to England for a few months and got a diploma in British brewing technology. Yeah. And brought that back with me. Just kind of more of the science side of things. Yeah. If I was going to invest this kind of money and have someone with a building invest in me to do the build out and things that we needed to get it off the ground, I figured I probably should have the education behind it along with the home brewing awards that I had won. And so we hunted around for a while, and we came upon this place, and everything kind of worked out. And the owners of the property really worked with us and to help us get in here and put this together. So we've been open since 2018. So I think April will be 7 years.
Oh, wow.
We've been open, yeah.
That's great, yeah. So in regards to the beers that you brew, so you brew ESBs, you brew English style beers, and that's not something you usually see on the West Coast, right? We have our IPAs, we have our hazies now. So I imagine you pulled from what you learned in that school, or have you always been a fan of beer over the West Coast style?
Yeah, I've kind of been a fan of all of it, really. But yeah, I love English beers, and when we originally opened up, we had lots of English beers on tap. Unfortunately, now that I'm a businessman, they don't sell as well. Yeah. So we usually have, I think we have one English brown on tap right now. And we've kind of, over time, what we brew is kind of based on customer demand. Right. So we run about 20 different taps here. And so what's happened over the years, we started making some lagers, and they're really well received. People really like what we're doing with those. And so we've got some lagering, some horizontal tanks, and so we're pretty consistent. We usually have 6 or 7 lagers on tap, which is unusual for most breweries. Right. On top of that, we have a couple of hazy IPAs, we have a couple of West Coast IPAs. I think we have a Anchor Steam clone that we actually did with the former master brewer, retired from Anchor Steam. Tom Riley came in and brewed it with us, and so we actually have an Anchor Steam beer made with the guy who made Anchor Steam, which is really cool. But yeah, we're really leaning heavy into lagering and lager beers in particular right now. We're always interested in the new science and what's coming up, so we're reading about everything, new hop products, new fermentation products. So we try to incorporate that. Being a small brewery and the head brewer and also the owner, I could make what I want to. Right. So that's kind of nice. Yeah. I have one other very skilled brewer, Kevin Foster, who brews here with me. He's graduated Davis's master brewing program, and he was supervisor out of Budweiser for a bunch of years. One of the supervisors out there. Great guy. So the two of us together are able to put together some pretty solid beers. We recently started doing a really high alcohol seltzer base. Oh. So we have So we've been making a clear base seltzer for a while, and we've got it really dialed in. It's just crystal clear. It's called Glass Skeleton. And we can offer all different flavor combinations on the base of the seltzer, so it's kind of nice, so we're not stuck with just one flavor. Right. We can do all kinds of things with it. So then we kind of went down the path, and we got some help from my buddy Jamil Zanishev, who used to own Heretic. Yep. So we're actually really good friends, and we had talked about doing this high gravity seltzer, and we were working on it. We were getting close, and then he gave me some information that he came across that was really helpful, and so we were able to bump it to 20% alcohol. Oh wow! So we make it 20%. So yeah, it's crazy.
Is that legal? That's like gasoline.
Yeah, we can ferment primarily grain based, and it's got to be under 24%. Otherwise, it's considered a spirit. Yeah, and it has to be made in-house, which it is. So what we do is we ferment this seltzer to 20%, and it's no sugar left in it. So 40 proof, and then we run it through a filter. Yeah. So it's crystal clear, and then we use that as a base for other things. We can put it in the slushy machine and make margaritas. We do all kinds of different flavor combinations and like cocktail type bases, drinks with that as a base.
Yeah.
That adds a lot of extra sales power to us with people's habits changing as far as what they want to drink right now.
Yeah.
Not only do we have, at least 18 beers on tap typically, we have a seltzer that's 5.5%. And we have one that's 20% that we can mix into all kinds of other things for you.
Oh, that's great. So
Yeah.
like something for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. You can like make the flavor, have the flavors added on demand.
Hurts my brewer heart a little bit,
right? Yeah.
but it actually is a lot of work, and it's a lot of science involved to get it exactly where it is, and I think we do it as good, if not better than most people.
But I think for like a group of friends, if you're coming down here and not everybody are beer drinkers, right? But
Right.
it's a great spot to come hang out socially. They now know they've got choices.
Yes, lots of options.
Different drinkers.
Yeah, because people come in, we're close to the wine country. Suisun Valley out here is budding wine scene. A lot of really cool things going on out in Suisun Valley with all the wineries and everything. And so we're getting some wine tourism as well. And it's nice to have an option for people that don't like beer or they can't have beer because of gluten or whatever,
Right.
So we have other options for them.
Yeah. How you guys work with the community here in Suisun, whether it be the different events or, how do you guys work within the community?
Yeah, we do a lot of donating over the year, typically to a lot of military, police, fire type things. Other clubs, the local fire department, we co-sponsor the big Brew Bash at the Basin.
Oh, okay.
So Brew Bash at the Basin is the local beer fest that's been occurring for several years.
Yeah.
They've been, typically since we've opened, it's always on the same day as our anniversary party.
Yeah.
So we can't do a lot because we're pretty tied up here.
Yeah.
But they've moved it to a different week. So last year we were able to actually help coordinate, and so I spent some time getting breweries to come in, and we made it a lager fest because there's a lot of breweries that have some really good lagers around, and there's a lot of lager drinkers too, and there's really not a lot of lager fests.
Right.
So we do the lager fest out here typically in April, and I think last year we had 15 or 16 breweries.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's coming around, and we had a band out there, and so we'll be helping them this year as well.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, we the Fisher House event at the Air Base, we did that last year.
And the Fisher House they support families that come in.
Yeah, it's a great organization. So actually, they just hit us up again about this year about putting a tree together, and so we'll probably put something together for them.
Great.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff like that we do locally, primarily with product donation, materials, shirts, hats, whatever. And then oftentimes we'll do these events where if they're set up with a day license, we can sell them the beer and they can sell the beer and make the money on the beer.
Okay.
So yeah, we do a lot of stuff like that.
That's great. If it's someone's first time here, what is a can't miss beer, something they have to try, or something you're known for?
Well, right now, so we started making a Mexican lager called Suisunito that we've had on tap for probably 6-7 months. And we got a bronze medal at the Commercial State Fair with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really nice beer. So it's a nice place to start here, crisp, nice, easy beer. And then you can rotate into our other ones. We got a gold medal for our black lager, our Schwartz beer, last year, the year before, for the California Brewers Cup. So and then our German Pilsner also got an award, a bronze at the State Fair last year, I think it was. So we're getting some awards for that kind of stuff. I would recommend kicking off starting with some of our lagers.
Yeah.
And then Fairfield Fog is our flagship hazy IPA. It's an 8% hazy. It's pretty much always on tap. We usually have it in cans as well.
Yeah.
Great beer if you're into hazies. And then we always have a one-off hazy that we're trying new stuff in. We have one called OK Terrific that's on tap right now, and we tried some new technology where there's certain amino acids they're doing studies on where you add them during fermentation. They promote different fruit flavors, so it's got kind of a lot of a pineapple note coming out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of depends what you're looking for.
Okay.
So we have actually a fresh batch of what we're drinking in here right now.
Okay.
Then I have a German Doppelbock.
Yeah.
We have a new lager. We're calling it the House Lager. Doesn't have a name yet, but it's something that I've been thinking about for a while. It's kind of a hybrid between a West Coasty, but not dry hopped.
Yeah.
But a little hoppier with new school hops lager. That one just got clean. Fairfield Fog is in here. We have our Christmas beer that we did with Jamil Zainasheff. We did one last year called Partridge in a Pear Tree. This is 2 Turtle Doves.
Nice.
And then
Continuation.
our German Pils is in this tank right now.
So I mean, this is the basic brewing system here, right?
Yep.
And so what size is this system? They typically go by barrel measurement.
Yeah, so this is, we're doing about 8 barrels. It's Chinese, so it's like 10 hecto, which is like 8.3 is like full max.
Okay.
So depending on the gravity of the beer, we're making beers that are anywhere from 5 barrels up to 0.3,
Okay.
essentially.
And what are you getting? Like, it's like 39 beers a barrel. How is?
Well,
does that work out?
so we're roughly doing like 250 gallons.
Yeah.
We end up with probably about 15, 16 kegs, full-size kegs
Yeah.
by the time we're done, depending on the beer. Dry hopping takes away because it absorbs
Yeah.
solution, right? So the volume kind of changes a little bit depending on what we're making. The hazies are a little different. We cool it down and go back in, and then. But
Oh, okay.
other than that, it's rinse and repeat. Do
Yeah.
it, do and do again.
So this is a little trivia for everybody watching. What are the 4 main ingredients you have to make beer?
I don't know. Tell me.
I know this one. It's so you have to have water, you have to have yeast, and you have to have a grain of some sort, and then hops, right?
Right.
So any type of beer is not beer without hops. It could be a handful of hops, essentially.
Yeah.
There's a standard. It's like a German term.
There's a couple of beers
Right,
that are hop free, like a grisette, I think it's called, but it's pretty unusual here. But yeah, typically, you want to throw a little hops in there, right? And by taxation standards for it to be a beer,
Right,
throw
yeah.
a couple of pellets in there.
So tell us where True Symmetry came from. Why the name? I know you have kind of like the Da Vinci, guy on.
Yeah,
And so where'd that all come from?
So it's kind of a difficult task to come up with any beer name or anything with brewing nowadays. And so we were actually, it's my wife and myself and my business partner. The 3 of us are the owners. We were at Russian River Brewing Company, oddly enough, having some great beer, and the name Symmetry had come to mind, and I was like, Symmetry, and I thought about Vitruvian Man, and I thought like, oh, we could put a hop over it, and I sketched it out on a napkin like a 2-year-old because I can't draw, and so we were going to go with that Symmetry. Someone else owns the copyright for just Symmetry in the alcohol industry.
Okay.
So we've been talking to our attorney, and she was like, well, if you throw in another word, and then True kind of stuck, and then we kind of liked it better.
Yeah.
And so we were like, True Symmetry, let's run with it. The name is about balance.
Yeah.
I was a cop, and I made beer. And so the concept was kind of like, hey, moderation, balance things out, I have to go do this job, but then I get to come make beer for everybody else too. So it's the balance of things, proportionality.
I mean, some people like certain characteristics of beer, right? They like it more hoppy. But I would say your beers are well balanced. So I
hope so. Thank you.
About your beers. It's not like too hop forward or too boozy. I feel like all your beers, you do put that effort to make them balanced, which I appreciate.
We certainly try. We make goofy beers too, right? Because people want
have fun with it.
beers that are really sour, or they want beers that are sweet, or so there's a place for those too. But overall, like, if you're gonna just sit down and have a beer, kind of my litmus test is it's a 3-question thing. Do I like it? Would I drink the whole thing? Would I order another?
Right.
And if you can say yes to those 3 things, it's a pretty good beer.
And so if anybody wants to learn about any different events or upcoming bands, comedy shows, where can they find you?
Find us on our social media. You can go to True Symmetry Brewing on Instagram or on Facebook. Those are typically the platforms that we're posting all of our schedules and everything else.
Great.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming down.
Such a cool spot.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. That helps us out, and that helps you be notified when we do this again. If you want to be featured, if you know somebody that should be featured, make sure to send an email. If you want to sit down and talk about real estate anytime, you can set an appointment with me below on my Calendly. Other than that, you can follow me at Move with Brandon. Have a good one. We'll see you out there. Cheers.